Good morning. It's Allie Benjamin here with Growing Edge Inspiration. And hello to everyone. If you're joining us for the very first time, hello and welcome. We are a growing online and in-person spiritual community, and we meet here every Sunday at 10:15. So welcome, welcome, welcome. Growing Edge Inspiration is a message, a time to get together in community, to have a spiritual tune in and a spiritual tune up. So welcome. We're about to get started in just a few minutes, and so I jumped on a little early to welcome you and to say good morning. And wherever you are and whatever you're doing, welcome to this moment now where we come together at Growing Edge Inspiration to celebrate this amazing thing called life. This one presence, this one power, this infinite organizing intelligence that is expressing itself so perfectly, so uniquely, so creatively in each and every moment. And we're all a part of that here at the very growing edge of our own becoming. And so Growing Edge Inspiration was inspired by our movement of having an in-person gathering every Sunday in Ogden, Utah, to taking it on the road. And so if you're joining us, you're either in Ogden gathering together at the Satya Center. Hi everyone. Hey Kelly. And there's Tali. Hi. Or you're here joining in our virtual community, which is on Facebook and will be on YouTube shortly after we record this session. So welcome, welcome, welcome to Growing Edge Inspiration. Hi Sue, hi Natalia, hi Bernadine. Welcome everyone. This morning is a little different as we don't have Michael moderating and adding comments. So maybe one of you would like to. If you hear something that I say that is noteworthy or speaks to your heart and you'd like to share it with the greater community, go ahead and text that in. Text in some of the things that I'll be sharing. And that way we can start a conversation, because really my desire is that this is an interactive session. Not only am I going to share some insights that I've been having, but I'd love to, through the text box, through the comment box, I'd love to hear from you, and we'd love to include your thoughts and insights into what we're talking about, and so that we can expand consciousness together and we truly get an idea that we're at the very growing edge of our own becoming, the growing edge of evolution, because each of us is an agent for change. We're conscious evolutionaries, and we're actually thinking our new paradigm into reality. We're thinking the future into being by what we're doing together here today. So we are Growing Edge Inspiration, creating an evolutionary shift in consciousness as we join together. Hi Heather, hi Carol, hi Leslie. All right, so we're about to get going. It is 9:15 here in California. I'm in Big Bear Lake. Hi to everyone that's joining us from Big Bear or California. And hello and deep love to our beloved community, the Satya community in Ogden, Utah, that's meeting in the mansion by the fire. Hello, namaste. We're going to be there next weekend to join in the community. So welcome everyone. Welcome to today's theme. Well, this month's theme, tongue twister, is the science of mind and spirit. And all month long we've been studying two books, one by Ernest Holmes, The Science of Mind, and this one by Charles Eisenstein, and this is called The More Beautiful World Our Hearts Know Is Possible. And so I've been merging these two evolutionary thinkers, their thoughts and philosophies and downloads and uploads into my message. So my message this morning is the truth of miracles, the truth of miracles. And I have to give a shout out to my friend John Moore, who's an amazing A Course in Miracles teacher, because he helped me to define miracles from the A Course in Miracles perspective. So more about that to come. First of all, I want to start with a little centering. So if you will, take a breath and close the eyes. And become still and present in your heart. And invite the mind to become open. And just notice any thoughts that drift in and drift out. And knowing all along you are the witnessing presence, love's presence in this great big drama of life. So as we breathe and settle and arrive and know all is well. We're open, we're receptive, we're curious as we step together onto the growing edge of our own becoming. Opening the eyes, taking a breath, and so it is. So welcome again. If you're joining us for the first time, welcome, stick around. We meet here every Sunday at 10:15 a.m. Mountain Time, and we'd love to have you make this your regular stop for a spiritual tune-in and a spiritual tune-up. So, welcome. Today, my title of my talk is The Truth of Miracles, and I have a quote by Charles Eisenstein. Working on the level of story, and we all create stories. That's what our life is. It's a projection of our own mental story. So working on the level of story has two dimensions. First, to disrupt the old, which says what you thought was real is just an illusion. The second is to offer the new, which says the possible and the real are much grander than you knew. The first we experience as crisis and breakdown. The second we experience as miraculous. That's what a miracle is. Not the intercession of an external divinity in worldly affairs that violates the laws of physics, but something that is impossible from within an old story of the world and possible from the new story. So that's what we've been talking about all month, is the old paradigm and the new paradigm. The old story, which we're evolving out of, which talks about separation, fear, the need to defend, war, and all that. That story of separation is dissolving. And we, as the conscious evolutionaries or the change agents or the bridge people that are dreaming or creating the new story, the new paradigm, the new vision into being, we do that, and we know from the teachings of science of mind that what we think about comes about. So we start to realize that we, as we wake up to as multi-dimensional beings, we start to activate the faculty of our intuition, activate the faculty of our ability to be conscious creators. And as conscious creators, we create the future consciously by the thoughts we think, by the words we speak, and by the actions we take. Another quote, "We have tried everything possible and none of it has worked. Now we must try the impossible." That's by Sun Ra. So now it's the time for us to start the impossible, which the impossible is the perspective from the old story. So the possible from the new story is what we would call in the old story, our old way of thinking, is a miracle. Well, in the new story, miracles are everyday occurrences. Miracles are normals or ordinaries. They happen all around us all the time. And when we start to wake up to our spiritual magnificence, we begin to see through the eyes of the miraculous. So the Course of Miracles says, what you think you are is a belief to be undone. So what we think we are, there's a lot of depth to that quote. What we think we are it can be undone. What that says is, don't believe everything you're thinking. Because what we're thinking is all made up stuff based on our past, based on our limited thinking. So as we start to think more empowering thoughts, more true thoughts, more miraculous thoughts, the old story begins to unravel and be undone. Fantasies are the veil behind which truth is hidden. Another Course in Miracles. Fantasies are the veil behind which truth is hidden. So we create a lot of fantasies, a lot of stories in our minds. And as we start to dissemble or dissolve the stories of separation, the truth starts to reveal itself. And what's the truth? The truth is, you are love. I am love. We are all love. That this world that we're experiencing is merely an opportunity for Spirit or God to reveal itself as love. We've all heard God is love. Love is all there is. It's true. And so as we start to wake up, we polish the lens of our foggy glasses and we begin to see what is true. And love is true. The love in you is true. The fear in you is illusion. The doubt in you is an illusion. And as we start to remember more and more not to be seduced by the fear, by the uncertainty, by the sadness, and we begin more and more to remember that we are love's presence, we begin to see that we're miracles, each of us. So Ernest Holmes defines miracles this way. A miracle is merely something we are not accustomed to seeing or experiencing. In reality, there are no miracles. For what seems to be a miracle is but a supremely natural law. The law says everything is possible. The law says there's infinite possibilities and potentialities. And the reason that we only have a small part of this infinite possibilities and potentialities is because that's the box that we live in. That is our understanding. We limit ourselves through the box of our story. So as we start to break down the walls of our story and begin to expand our view, we begin to call in a greater life, a miraculous life. A Course in Miracles says miracles are natural. When they do not occur, something has gone wrong. Something's gone wrong. So we know that when we're seeing life as mundane and ordinary and thinking miracles only happen to a few, it's not true. That's a misinterpretation. It's a misuse of our amazing body, mind, soul faculty. This triune nature of God that we are, body, mind, and soul. It's a misuse of what we truly are as awakened beings. So we wake up. Miracles occur naturally as expressions of love. They are performed by those who temporarily have more for those who temporarily have less. So you're a miracle. I'm a miracle. We're all miracle workers. And as we wake up to the miraculous, to the true, we begin to absolutely share our life, our love. And that is the miracle. That's the answer to the prayers of the entire world, for us to wake up as the presence of love. So there's a story I want to share with you. There was an abbot of a monastery. This is an old story from long, long ago. So this abbot was very, very wise, very, very looked up to. He was an awakened being. Really, all of the monks felt he had been touched by the divine, and he was truly a miracle being. Now, this abbot had an equally awakened friend, a rabbi, and this rabbi and him would get together periodically to discuss spirituality and whatnot. So the monastery was really in decline, and the abbot was upset. The whole atmosphere of the monastery was dark and heavy, and people were getting concerned that people weren't coming to the Sunday services or the services in the week times, and the monks were beginning to get frustrated with each other and even angry with each other, and they weren't as productive because they farmed the land. Things really started to decline, and the abbot felt like it was going to have to be shut down. So he went to speak to his friend, the rabbi, and the rabbi held him and hugged him and embraced his friend and said, well, let me share something with you, that in the Jewish culture, we have known that within your monastery, the Messiah is. The Messiah is one of you. The Messiah is amongst you. And the abbot said, are you sure? He said, yes, we've known this for years and years, that in your monastery, one of your monks, one of you there is the Messiah. So the abbot goes back, and he enters into the monastery with a new set of eyes, looking at all of the monks and wondering which one could it be. Could it be Brother Thomas that prepares the meals? Oh my goodness, he makes amazing food. Maybe he's the Messiah. He's spiritually nourishing us that way. Or could it be Brother John that plays that delightful music that awakens our souls and sets grace free in our lives? It could be him. Or could it be Brother Francis who works in the gardens that creates all the food and the flowers to decorate our sanctuaries? So he starts thinking of all the different ways that all of the different monks could be the Messiah. And so someone comes to him and says, things are changing around here. Look at this. We're vibrant. More people are coming from the village, and we're creating beautiful music and food and meals. And what's going on? So the abbot told one of the monks, well, I've been told by the rabbi, they had a premonition that the Messiah is one of us. And so this spreads like wildfire throughout the monastery, and all the monks are up leveling their game because they want to impress the Messiah, because the Messiah is one of them, and they all start being the miracle that they came to be in the world. And so the moral of the story is that if we take a stand for the miraculous, if we inhabit our miracle worker selves, that everyone around us will be influenced and changed. Can you imagine if you become a miracle worker in your family? If you become a miracle worker in your life, and you bring that level of reverence, that level of sacredness, that level of miracles into your world, what you can do, well, that's what we're doing. Each and every one of us, as we start to inhabit our miraculous selves, we begin to be the miracle, and we begin to influence everyone in the world, because we're all one. There's no separation in this premise of interbeing, interrelatedness, oneness. Everything we do affects everything in the world. So let's wake up to our divinity and be the miraculous. So I have a meditative closing, a thought, an activation. So close the eyes and tune into your heart here for a moment as I share something from this amazing book by Charles Eisenstein. Where then do we find the truth and miracles? We find it in the body, in the woods, in the water, and in the soil. We find it in the music, dance, and sometimes in poetry. We find it in a baby's face and in the adult's face behind the mask. We find it in each other's eyes when we look. We find it in an embrace, which is when we feel into it, being to being, an incredibly intimate act. We find it in laughter and sobs. We find it in the voice behind the spoken word. We find it in fairy tales and myths. And the tales we tell, even if fictional, sometimes embroidering a tale enlarges it as a vehicle for the truth and miracles. We find it in silence and stillness. We find it in pain and loss. And we find the truth and miracles in birth and in death. Charles Eisenstein. So opening your eyes and tuning in, knowing that you've had an activation of being a miracle worker in your life. I'd like you to think about some things this week. Will you be open up to a new vision? Are you open to being a miracle worker? Are you open to the miraculous? Are you available to be instrumental in creating a more beautiful world, the world your heart knows is possible? I know that you are, and so I'm cheering you on. I absolutely support each and every one of you. If you have any questions, any comments, any prayers, please go ahead and put them in the comments. And if this message has supported you and you would like to support our spiritual community, your spiritual community, you can simply you can tithe a donation to Satya Center, SATYA CENTER. So through Venmo, you can push a donation, which is you simply activating the law of circulation in your life. For as we give to where we're spiritually fed, we then receive more to be spiritually expanded by. So if you're one of our friends that gives through Tithely, you can text GIVE, GIVE, to 385-217-6312. That's 385-217-6312. So thank you for your gifts. Thank you for your generosity. Your generosity and your giving help us at the Satya Center and the Satya community to put legs on our mission, which is to inspire minds, to heal hearts, and to transform lives. So peace and blessings. Namaste. I love you very much. Have a wonderful session there at the Satya Center. Mwah, mwah, mwah. See you next Sunday. Bye.